leave me high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind.
The question is, brother, right? Are Indian women, brother, checking heavy for black men and passport bros? Break it down, bro.
Yes, definitely yes. In fact, I don't know any woman who's not checking for brothers. In my experience, especially in my time in college, any women were checking for me the most. So that's a definite yes to your question.
Brother, why were they checking for you, brother? What is it about you or black men that they were checking?
So once I went to college, right, I majored in STEM, right? I majored in mechanical engineering, right? And I did quite well. Like I was on the dean's list, you know, like I graduated with honors, etc. Right? So I was on the fast track to having a good career, and it was apparent. So the women who were with me, they saw that, and essentially, I think my career, right, gave them the pass to deal with me because, you know, there's stereotypes about brothers, you know, they're players, this and that, they're not serious, they won't go anywhere, right? I didn't fit in any of those stereotypes. So they, in my opinion, I think they were always interested.
So how did you know they were interested in you, brother? Did you cold approach them? Did they cold approach you? Did they give you choosing signals? You know, break it down for me, but give me more insight here.
Well, so again, I majored in engineering. In the school I went to, there was a high population of them, right? So a lot of my contemporaries were of the Indian persuasion, if you will. So when I went to class, right, there wasn't that many black people. It was mainly whites, Asians, and Indians. Those were my contemporaries. So when you're with people around, you know, when you're with the same people every day, and you're studying and it's hard, right? You know, you start fostering relationships. You know, they start seeing your personality, right? And then things can foster from there. So that's typically how I would start relationships with these women, was that they would see me in class, they would see my personality, they would see my charisma, right? And then, you know, they would be interested. But that wasn't always the case, though, because I've also met Indian women outside of my degree, right? I met Indian women just out and about, or I met Indian women while I was going to the bars, right? And they were also checking as well. So you don't need to play the long game with these women, right? If you just show traits that interest them, right, they will be willing to take a chance with you. And I know because I've been with quite a few of them.
So, brother, who makes the first move first? Do you make the first move? Will she make the first move? I want to know how it works between a black man and an Indian one, brother. So did she make the first move?
It's always going to be you making the first move. I'm trying to think if any girl made the first move with me. What's going to happen is that she's going to give you choosing signals, like a lot heavy. It's going to be so obvious you don't even know. I mean, you're going to be you have to be oblivious not to notice it. There's even one girl that I was working with, who I purposely did not pursue because I knew that I don't mess around in my job, right? But once I knew I was leaving that job, then I took that, and the same day that I took that, you know, things happened, if you know what I mean. So they'll give you a lot of choosing signals, right? It's very obvious, but they're not going to be the ones to pursue, right? They're feminine, so they're not going to do that. But once they get here in the U.S., right, and they see, you have to understand that the black culture dominates the culture here in the U.S. Everything that's considered cool, hip, whatever synonym you want to use, right, pretty much originates from black culture. So they come over here and they get the exact opposite of the indoctrination that they get when they're in India. They see black people as hip, cool, you know, someone to be revered. If you want to be cool, you want to associate with them. They're the ones who know how to dance, they're the ones who know how to talk smooth, etc. So they get, you know, all that, I guess you could say, reverse propaganda over here. And yeah, that colors their worldview.
Oh wow. Okay, so now let's pick her apart, brother. Right. So when you were dating an Indian woman, brother, tell me 5 things you liked about when you were dating an Indian woman, brother. Tell me 5 things.
Well, the first woman who cooked for me was an Indian girl. She wasn't even my girlfriend, right? I later found out that she had feelings for me, but that was back when I didn't know how to read these signals, right? So the first girl that's ever cooked for me was an Indian woman. The number one thing I would say that I love about an Indian woman is the submissiveness, right? By far, I've never had more submission than with an Indian woman, by far. I'm not sure, like maybe Asians are more submissive. I haven't been with too many of them to compare, right? But in terms of all the women that I've been with, nothing compares in terms of submissiveness than with an Indian woman. I actually don't even have to. I don't have to tell a woman any woman how to behave or how to act. She just knows naturally how to do so, and it's quite a pleasant experience. So yeah, they cook. They also tend to be, and this is just for me personally. I know that this might not apply to most. Actually, it's probably not going to apply to most people, but they're also vegetarian, right? And I follow a vegan diet, so it helps me because then they can cook food for me, right? So that's nice as well. Also, I think, like I said, I think I mentioned this before on the previous call when I was calling in to defend my Indian woman. That some of them might have the lowest floors, but they also have the highest ceilings when they get done up and well done. So they look absolutely stunning, in my opinion. They look absolutely gorgeous. They really are communicative through touch. They don't embarrass you in public. They would never dream to do so. If they have a problem with you, they will speak to you in closed doors. And this is not something that needs to be stated, right? They just naturally know to do this, right? I think this is how we want a woman to behave and to act, right? And these women do this naturally. So I think that's 5 things. I could go a little bit further, but I think that's a pretty good start.
What about femininity, brother?
Oh yeah, I mean they're extremely feminine. Like I said, I think femininity and submission, right, are kind of go hand in hand. They don't use too much makeup, which is what I would prefer. I don't like a woman who does all that makeup. I really don't like that at all. I actually prefer a woman to have no makeup than than to do that glam look. And majority of Indian women will use minimal to no makeup, and I personally love that. But they're very feminine, right? They keep up with their appearance, right? And they're very, very submissive.
So, brother, from your eyes only, from what you saw in your community, brother, okay, right? Did you see Indian women with other black men apart from you?
You talking to me, right?
Yes, indeed, brother.
Yeah, I saw quite a few actually. Yeah. It was rare, but I saw it. Yeah.
So, but I'm assuming you dealt with rich Indian women, brother. How's like dealing with rich Indian women, brother? Were they spending on you? Were they buying you gifts? They would just buy you random gifts, out of nowhere, brother. Break it down for us, bro.
You are absolutely right about Indian women having money. I mean, Indian people in general having money. I remember this one girl that I was dealing with. She had an Audi, was it R8? I forgot. I'm not a big car guy, but she had like a $150,000 car. Right, in college. It was crazy. And she let me drive that. She gave me the keys to that, let me drive it. Oh my gosh, man. It was, I've never, to this day, I've never driven a car that expensive. But yeah, Indian women definitely give gifts.
Brother, out of 10, right, the score of 10, the rank of 10, right? Let me ask this, brother, right? Out of 10, what would you rate the Indian woman you dealt with out of 10 on average?
7 and above. 7 and above, I would say.
Wow. Flipping heck. But what about body-wise as well? Slim, thick, curves? Did you get that from the Indian woman you dealt with?
Yeah, so a lot of the Indian women, they're not gonna be built like that. But you have to understand, for me, like I have like women that I like to have fun with, and then I have like women that I view as wifey. And women that I view as my wifey are kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? They're like factory built, like iron-born women. Like that's kind of the women I prefer in terms of wife, because I don't want my wife to be curvaceous, because then she can get attention from other men and it can cause issues. I just prefer to have a girl with a cute face that's skinny. That's my preference in terms of like a girl that would be willing to wife. Don't get me wrong, I might be willing to wife a girl that's curvaceous, but I tend to prefer in terms of like long-term relationships that type of body.
Interesting, but I thought you'd be into that Megan Thee Stallion thick type chick. that Cardi B thick type chick, that Jennifer Lopez thick type chick, that too thick for you, brother?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I've definitely been with those kind of women too, and I like having fun with those women. But in terms of like being in a long-term relationship, yeah, no, that's not my preference. I want to be with a woman that is, cute, petite, right, cute face. That's that's usually my preference.
Facts, bro. Like I'm on that point where slim, thick, gym tone is what I like first and foremost. And I like skinny chicks, not too big behind, just proportionate. I agree, bro. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. All that thick stuff, Megan Thee Stallion thick, Cardi B thick, that's played out, bruv. I'm not into thick chicks like that. I just think it's just the big behinds. It's just not attractive like that. In 2024. Women having those big behinds, and just, it looks nonsense, man. I keep it real.
But they checking though. I'm not gonna lie about that. I can confirm what the brother's saying. They checking, especially I've been hearing stories in Texas, specifically Austin, specifically Austin. I heard they checking. They definitely checking. The ones in Austin, they check. Yeah. I've heard stories about the ones in Austin and in New York. What the brother said about New York is 100% true. They definitely checking.